Last month, we should be 75,000 on profit. I've worked with a lot of people. My favorite thing about working with you, I just know this is not a money thing for you. This is not I can tell you enjoy doing this. And, you don't get that every time when you have a consultant. So that means the world to me. That holds heavy weight for me. You understand that concept, really pushed me to get the community. And now I see the vision. Now isn't so much how much can I get out of somebody on the front end because I'm going to lose them forever, right? No, that's not the case at all. Just get them in there, get them whatever they wanted, deliver a good product to them. And now that relationship is there, which is cemented because of the brand.
All right, I've got Dr. Jones on with me today. This is an exciting story. I hope everybody wants to listen to this. Let's talk about results first. You're now at about 300,000 in revenue. Where did we start?
About 155, somewhere around 150s, 155.
So back in May or June, we started working. It was just 3 or 4 months ago, or 4 months ago. We've doubled the revenue. And what about profit? Because profit was a big problem for you. And I know this is a big thing that I was concerned about, which is we started red.
Yeah. The first couple of months there between March and May, we were losing about 10 to 15,000 a month.
Yeah. And now where are you now? Approximately?
Last month, we should be 75,000 on profit.
So almost a 10x jump in profit to some degree, which is, I think these are the things we need to talk about, which are, if you're listening to this and you think this can't happen quickly, I am telling you, it can turn around very quickly. And I think that's the story here, which is that really we started physically working together in May or June. I think the first couple of months we were kind of, I wasn't really involved other than a handful of calls just to kind of work on some ad stuff. And then we really said, okay, let's do this for real. And when you went into production, we saw that jump. In just that sort of I would say, May, June, July, August, September, and now October, which is sort of finalized, but it's still, I think you're still shuffling out what really happened in October, but it was pretty good. You look at that sort of, and if I had said to you, hey, don't worry, I know it sounds dire, but in less than 6 months, you will be a highly profitable company. You will have doubled your revenues. You will have then completely exonerated from the challenges that you have. I mean, it would be hard for me to say that to you because I don't think you'd believe me.
Yeah, probably not,
What do you think is the primary thing that catalyst was that changed everything?
Yeah, I think it was absolutely a combination of things. The really sinking my teeth into. One huge piece of it was the technology in front of us that you've helped us really utilize effectively and allow us to be able to service more people and bring them into the doors. I think that's a huge piece of it. Getting our team dialed into, the AI, utilizing the CRM properly, the whole process of getting a potential customer and patient of ours interested in our services, from social media into the CRM, and into production. So I think that, you got me out of out of the CRM that I was heavily involved in, to the point where, I was going to start a company for people that wanting to use Zoho in the medical space. And I don't think I would have ever gotten out of that because I was so heavily involved with it. And I think that, just to touch on that, I think is huge. Maybe you didn't start for someone else watching, maybe you weren't that invested into your current CRM, but it's really reasonable for someone who's so invested into a CRM to just be like, it's such a big thing to change, and it's scary. But we just wouldn't be able to do what we can do in the production we can do in that antiquated CRM that we all call Zoho. So that was one huge piece of it for sure.
I think that is technology, and of course, all the things that we did. If I look back, and I do often, to where you really started, it was a primary understanding of even sales copy and persuasion principles. We used to be on calls and I'd walk you through the language in your sales pages and the language in your copy and fix that. You would ask me how should I say this? And we would work on that.
Yeah.
And also the next thing was rationalizing the solution, like defining what your market positioning was, coming up with your branding, looking at your strategy from the top down perspective to say, let's look at this from an aggregate and not just from a one-on-one basis. Let's look at what the brand can do across multiple places and multiple market definitions, right?
Helping me launch the brand, by the way, that's another second huge one.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying. Defining your market, right? And then we went into crafting your offers, right? We went into really looking at your offer strategies. Like what were you providing to the market? What were the profit margins? What were we talking about? And then obviously as you just, and I think those offer strategies really catapulted you immediately in that second or third month, which is you finally said, okay, now we know what we're selling. Let's give the sales guys something to do that is productive, that we know we're going to get rational results on. And then looking at that foundational structure, which is what we started to do, which is the foundation of the architecture of building your entire base, right? Which is we had to come in, retrofit from Zoho to go to high level. And I think that was the turning point when now all of the screws were tightened on the ship and you could start to sail.
Yeah, I think so. It's, getting all those pieces dialed in, and having the, having those calls with you too, being able to focus on those main things while putting out little fires here and there, some random stuff that we were able to discuss, like personnel issues too, as well. And, finding better uses of personnel too. I mean, that was
internal
also
architecture. Yes,
yeah,
internal architecture. And whether that's personnel or people or combination of both, scaling is about building internal architecture, right? And then we really looked at your traffic, right? Things changed dramatically when you committed to traffic, right? We committed, let's do more TikTok. Lo and behold, produced a bevy of basket of different types of now clients. And then I think you learned from that the engineered structure of cross-platform structure, which is now Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and like TikTok. Now it's all kind of like working together, and we can see the navigation from that, which is that now if you wanted to run paid ads on top of all this, we have optimized content that we could pick from that you could now cherry pick, which are performing as well as they have organically, is just turn them around and push them as posts into the network. You don't have to do that, right? We don't have to spend money on ads because you're getting enough revenue just from organically.
Just organic, yeah.
Which to my, chagrin, I mean, obviously I would love to turn on the turbojets, but we're not even there to that point where I think if we did that, the astonishment of now your sales reps having already full schedules, now you have a bigger problem, which is that we can't create bottlenecks where they don't belong yet.
Yeah. I think exactly like you said, right? We're finalizing the architecture of the technology so that we can deliver. We almost don't want to turn on the jets because I'm already growing massively as it is. And the timing. I think the timing of the next big push is going to be when we're ready to deliver fully with all these last kind of pieces where we're buttoning up here with the delivery technology. Really, I'm just kind of bundling it all into that word, but because there's a lot of pieces.
It is, but I will tell you, if I was to bet on you as a horse right now, and I said, what are the odds now versus where they were 6 months ago? I would say now I'm betting on you, and the odds are you're going to come in first place because we did one thing that you needed to do, which is you needed to gain authority and build your positioning as an expert, right?
Yeah.
You are now getting people looking at you saying, I want to work with you, as in affiliates and other people who now see you as the expert. It took engineering of your internal brain to really get, you step up there. And there's a lot of conversations that we had about you still, I think to this day, not realizing where your potential is as an authority in the space where I see it. Because I look at it from my view and from the view I've had for 15 years running marketing stuff. And I go, have to pretend that you're anybody. You are there by leaps and bounds above all these other people. But it's hard because only you see these top level guys like Dr. Mike and Dr. Bob and whoever. These people have been on YouTube for a bazillion years and they've got hundreds of thousands of followers. Comparing yourself to those metrics is difficult, but compared to the 1% of those people and the 99% of the people that are behind you, you're right there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It is. easy to look at that. And my own personality trait is I sometimes forget to step back and what is that expression? Smell the roses in front of you, but appreciate what I've done. But yeah, I mean, I have to remember to do that sometimes because we've come such a long way. But I'm so hyper focused on, like you said, getting to that next level. I'm ready.
Well, and that's this integrated distribution, right? And so what we are doing is going to now, and this is sort of now stage 2, the rocket boosters on stage 2, where I could see we're going to double again, which is that we start to do integrated distribution with reach and multi-channel strategies and affiliate marketing and all the things that are now going to build back into what I think your original, when we started talking about this, your original strategy is really sort of more shotgun approach. And now we're looking at like pockets of distribution to work on and marginalizing, I think, the low end clientele that may not give you a high level denomination if you go to eventually into a sale process where you want to maximize your shareholder value for your people who might be constituents looking at you as a purchasing option. And believe me, I've been through it. That's why I'm trying to pre-warn anybody who's in business. I don't care if you want to sell. You should act like you want to sell because it will make you do better things for your business. And it's hard to think about that. And I had a discussion when I was at the high level event the last week in Dallas. And this is the thing that people came up to me and said. He said, I never thought about selling my business, but now you've made me think about it because I realize that if you act that way, you look at everything as like, how can I increase the value of my company long term? And boy, does it short run a lot of those conversations in the beginning. So you think about what you're doing, so it increases your value for yourself, whether or not you sell or not. It's not even a consequence. It's what you're doing to really value the business of your inevitably potential sale, which could be 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, a day from now. Who knows? Somebody could come along and say, I need you. And now you're set up and you're not going to have to fight for these metrics that people want.
Yeah. That's it's really exciting. It's really exciting to look forward to, whether that happens or whether I just continue to scale and grow and keep it internally and enjoy that ride too as well. I'm open. I'm open to see what the universe presents and when you're ready, right? So,
well, and this is the thing that I found was interesting was that we now started to work with you on next generation AI, right? So now it becomes a game of efficiency with AI and utilizing a sequence of events that are going to be determined based off of conversations that the AI is bubbling up. And of course, we're at the very first inning of AI, and we're still seeing the advantages of having that manipulative, let's just say, conversation being done without a human. So we can put people into buckets, get them into pricing. And the goal would be an organic lead comes to you, goes into a funnel. The AI speaks to it and says, hey, how are you? What would you like? Oh, I just want to get started. Where do I go? Oh, let me give you the link. And then the person clicks on the link and goes into production, whether it's a community or a full, product. And you haven't done anything except collect cash. That's the kind of golden ticket here that we're looking to start to do. And it will happen as we go further down this process of building then the next generation of intelligence. What's interesting is that you're staying ahead of and being competitive by putting this stuff in, which is what's happening, right? Because who gets there first in this race?
Right. Yeah. No kidding. No, that makes a lot of sense.
What do you think from your perspective? What do you think turns your leads that you have into loyal clients today? What do you think is doing that? Why are you getting such a perceptive reality as we've seen the salespeople's schedules go from 0 to completely full to, I need a new sales guy?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, right? Because we have, the majority of transactions that are happening are people purchasing the peptides and coaching programs on the front end, getting started. And all of that's coming from the social media traffic that we now have, with a clearer message and a stronger call to action. And truth be told, when it comes to returning customers and I don't even have that set up yet. And that's one thing that I'm really, really excited to really, really sink my teeth into with you is the strategies of even tracking those metrics. What is the lifetime value? I mean, I'm embarrassed to say I don't even have that. I don't even know. The focus has always been like most business owners, front end. And I don't have those established. That's this. You also got me really into the concept of the community base, right? And getting the community going. And I've seen Alex Rosie talk about it so much. And so to have someone also, you understand that concept really pushed me to get the community. And now I see the vision. Now isn't so much how much can I get out of somebody on the front end because I'm going to lose them forever, right? No, that's not the case at all. Just get them in there, get them whatever they wanted, be a good, deliver a good product to them. And now that relationship is there, which is cemented because of the brand. And they're going to buy from me later, and they're going to refer people. And I've never had that. And I can already see it now happening and unraveling through the combination of all these different pieces that, it's so exciting.
Well, and I think so you're learning, I think, what I'm experienced over the last 12 years running an agency, which is that all these things are extremely difficult if you take them like a big spaghetti bowl and you try and pull the strings on each end. There's actually a way and a methodology to do this so that you temper the discussions. And that's what we did, or I did exactly with you, is I went in a very peace mode strategy where we slowly adapted you into these productions. And you had to go, and we're still dealing with this right now, which is every time we get to another stage, it takes a while for you to envelop it from a mental standpoint, because it is a leap of each time we leap into another quadrant. We're not necessarily covering something that you've done before. I've been down this road with my business since I built, a multi-million-dollar business, but it's you and your, let's just say, internal guts. You had to feel comfortable with these changes. And I think because we didn't rush things and because we weren't looking to monopolize, let's just say, as you mentioned, these clients into like, hey, run and gun, it was more, let's gradually adopt these methodologies without trying to overestimate success. We optimized, and what happened was we found organic growth immediately, which is great. But we also found that you became self-aware, as you started to see the actions being taken, that they actually were producing results. And I think that's an important lesson for a lot of people who are in the agency business, is that there is a lot of things that need to be done in order for things to work correctly. And it's not just about running ads. It's about taking the time to understand systems flow and structure, and then developing a program that oscillates correctly with client. In your case, we developed this in a couple of months, and then we're executing now. We're executing now on the next stage, which is now scaling the business, operation flows, automating, outsourcing, and all the things that now will start to circulate back into the beginning stage of this, which is that we're going to be sort of recirculating this concept of all the things that we've just talked about into optimization strategies that now for you are a whole new step, because now you're going to have to think about building out some additional thought processes on your scaling, because it involves human beings and capital and things that you hadn't even thought about, that 6 months ago you would have prayed that this would have been a solve, because you had said, I would die to have now a problem with my salespeople's complete turnover because they're too busy. But again, as we wrap this up, I wanted to just sort of circle back to the things we discussed, because this is what I call profit engines, and you have become a profit engineer. Now you understand. There's primary understanding of your sales language and your persuasional copy, which we went through. So that's what we started. Then we rationalized the solutions. We defined the market. We helped you build your brand. Then we built an offer strategy that made sense for the market. Then we looked at the foundational structure. We entered into that technology discussion, and we started to break down the parts that needed to be fixed. Then we looked after that to the internal architecture of what was happening inside the company, how we could now take that technology, build it in, and then distribute the architecture properly so that you're actually taking advantage of that foundation. Then looked at the traffic channels, built the traffic channels out. Then started the engineering structure of the cross-platform strategy. So now we started to do all the platforms after we figured out how one worked, then we could do more. Then we looked at navigating the paid ads. We found that we didn't even need to do paid ads, but we still have some running just to build out the offense that we had for Facebook. Then we looked at your position, gaining your authority, building you as a brand, getting your architecture for your head to think about you being the authority. And that's a process already still in place that we need to do. Then we looked at the distribution and messaging and architecture so we can build affiliates, built in AI now, we're just starting that. Then the engagement strategy to take these clients and get them into long-term customers. That would be something that we're working with even into e-commerce now for your model, which is great. That will happen in the next couple of months as we build some of the supplements and core things. On top of all that, we're scaling the operations to optimize all these things. I just wanted to review that stuff because I think it's important for people to understand that there are steps and that this isn't a throw it at the wall and pray. This is a real model to help develop and design proper scaling architecture based off of some criteria that I've learned and that you're going through, and you go, okay, good. I don't have to eat the whole ocean in one bite.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Is there anything that you could say maybe to the audience that would help them with making a decision on if they want to scale, what you would recommend? Not even for us. I honestly, I'm just more important about, I think your mindset that was the important thing to think about, which is that maybe talk a little bit about belief.
Yeah, I think, it's kind of similar to how I would communicate. I get asked all the time on my lives, and, I just started semaglutide or tirzepatide, the GLP-1 medications. If you guys are curious, that's what all the craze is right now. That's a big part of my business, or I'm just thinking about starting, what's the best thing you can give me? Like, what's the most powerful thing you can tell me? What should I be thinking of? I think of that question right there for business owners with where they're at. Obviously you're not starting your business, but you're obviously at a point that you're wondering, could I be doing better? Like, what would that look like? So the same thing I would tell the business owner as I would the client. I mean, it's making a decision that you want to change your current condition. You got to make that decision that you're not happy with the current condition and that you want to make a change. And that seems so intuitive and so like common sense, but it's really not, because a lot of people make these half-assed decisions, where they kind of have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And, it's almost like they're, and I am somebody who believes that we have a certain amount of our attention preoccupied in the past due to, a whole bunch of stuff there. But in any moment, if life's urgency calls for it and you can choose it, you can take a moment, hold your attention and get most of it available and make that fucking decision. And for the weight loss patient, same thing. But for the business owner, making that decision and realization, like, I'm not happy with where I'm at, or maybe I am, but I want to do so much more. Okay, great. You made that decision. Okay, now what is the plan? And just like I would tell the weight loss patient, trying to do this on your own, trying to navigate through GLP-1 medications and figuring it out, when you have professionals in front of you that can help you, that have already figured this out, it just makes more sense. Nobody would ever disagree with the concept of having some sort of mentorship. I think there's a lot to be said about figuring things out on your own, but at the same time, though, you are you're benefiting from both aspects of it with the mentorship, because like you've said before to me, I've made these mistakes, and so I'm just gonna streamline this for you, right? I'm still gonna make mistakes, but I'm just gonna make less because I have you, and it just makes a lot of sense, especially a mentor that's doing the exact thing that you've done. Sometimes it just fucking feels good to know that you have somebody that you can talk to, is also very powerful. Like today's call with you earlier, when I sent you that email, like, hey, I'm fucking a little uneasy right now because I'm a little, and then we talked and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm good again. So I think that's also really, really, to me, very valuable. And I think most people would appreciate having some sort of mentorship. And I don't want to say, ear you can cry into, but you get what I'm trying to say. So,
well, you're approaching $300,000 a month of revenue. I mean, that's not a short amount of money. It's a significant amount. We're talking about now, $3 to $4 million, up to $5 million company probably coming very quickly. And that type of responsibility, how much do you want to put on your shoulders?
Right.
There are people who are adept at doing things. And I'm not talking just about marketing. I'm talking about being able to be a resource, because there's other things that happen for a reason, which is that the network of people that happen to be behind me that I've known for many years have also been part of this, that I've been able to support lots of different clients and lots of different environments with is that there's just not me. It's the people and resources that I have that have been able to support you that are also entrenched in these conversations, which help, I think, from a perspective of you stopping that search for X and just going, okay, where do I get it? I swear that is a big part of this business, which is people don't realize that it's not about consulting and coaching and all. It's about the long-term tail of connections that people have that they've already made that you don't have to go research. And I think there's a huge benefit to that more than anything else than even the meets the eye when you have a mentor. And again, I've had mentors as well, and they've done things for me from a networking standpoint, just like you've had with me. There's a real resource that people don't understand when they get into these arrangements is that they pay for something like this. They're actually paying for the network. They're not paying for just that person. And I think there's a piece that people should think about if they're using a mentor, whether it's like you, where, you know, all the things that you know and the places you know to get stuff for a weight loss patient that needs to know what to do. It's not just you, it's all the things that you know about the industry. And I hear your lives where you're referencing so many different things that you've engaged with that aren't even part of maybe that discussion directly, but maybe it's subjectively for that person to be able to make that research that they need to do. Or if it's some business person that's looking for help, they have to understand that there's a bigger quadrant of network that supports the narrative that they're trying to support behind one person because of the extensive knowledge that person has built into their history and their experience of whatever they've come from in their background. Well, It's been awesome. I can't wait. I want to do this in 3 months and see where you're at, because I have a feeling there'll be such a quantum leap again, and that it will be something that you'll say, I can't believe now X, and that will be the new thing. So any parting words for anybody listening to this other than the fact that we kind of covered, I think, what I call the profit engineering of what we've done for our business for helping you?
Yeah. First, it'll be super exciting to see, you know, going through, you know, November, December, right? You know, and then January, right? So meeting in February, how we position ourselves to capitalize weight loss industry, January being one of the biggest months if you do it right. So super excited for us to talk in February. And yeah, man, I just want to say thank you. And, you know, I've worked with a lot of people. And, you know, my favorite thing about working with you, and I know you didn't bring me on this podcast to give you accolades, but I hope you don't mind. Like, I just know this is not a money thing for you. This is not I mean, you're, I can tell you enjoy doing this, and fuck, man, that's, you know, you don't get that every time when you have a consultant. So like, that means the world to me. And it's really, it just, that holds heavyweight for me. So, you know, I for anybody watching this, you know, you want to work with a consultant that this is, you know, more than just a way to make money for them, that they actually give a shit, that they're excited, that they're interested, you know, genuinely in your success. So, yeah. Yeah.
A game I like to play is what we were doing, which is we're taking what was what I consider an absolute mess, shining it up, polishing it. And now you have a brand new car to drive, and you really have an interesting road in front of you for us to both journey down. So I'm excited to see what happens. So Thanks again, Dr. J.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you.